Om Guruve Namaha. Jai Ho. I'm Pranav Jain and I welcome you all to Virat Talks. Miss Kaamya Karthikeyan, the 12-year-old daughter of a naval officer, Commander S. Karthikeyan, and an early childhood educator, Mrs. Lavanya K, has been accomplishing deeds of tall order. Let me give you a glimpse of her achievements. Inspired by her father's mountaineering activities, Kamya started trekking from a tender age of 3. Her Himalayan odyssey started in 2015 with a high altitude trek to Chandrashila Peak. In May 2017, Kamya trekked to the Everest Base Camp at Nepal to become the second youngest girl in the world to accomplish the feat. In 2017, Kamya set a world record of climbing Mount Stok Kangri at 20,187 feet to become the youngest climber in the world to climb a peak above 20,000 feet or 6,000 meters. Following her success on Stok Kangri, Kamya embarked on the ultimate mountaineering challenge, the Explorer's Grand Slam, a mission to climb the highest peak in all 7 continents and ski to the North and South Poles. She has named her mission SAHAS, which means adventure. Children are not things to be molded, but are people to be unfolded. This is an amazing quote by Jess Lair, and now let's invite Miss Kamya Karthikeyan to share her amazing journey with us.
Hello everyone, a very good evening to you all. I'm Kaamya Karthikeyan, a 13-year-old class 8 student. I'm daughter of a proud naval officer, Commander S. Karthikeyan, and an early childhood educator, Mrs. Lavanya Karthikeyan. I would like to thank the Virat Youth Charammangal to consider me worthy of speaking on their platform, Virat Talks, and sharing my journey through the mountains, Mission Sahas. Now, I'm no motivational speaker or a life guru. Then what makes me and Mission Sahas worthy of the stage? To give you a quick idea, I would like to bring in a familiar voice.
मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, हमारे देश की महिलाओं, हमारी बेटियों की उद्यमशीलता, उनका साहस हर किसी के लिए गर्व की बात है। अपने आसपास हमें अनेकों ऐसे उदाहरण मिलते हैं जिनसे पता चलता है कि बेटियां किस तरह पुरानी बंदिशों को तोड़ रही हैं, नई ऊंचाई प्राप्त कर रही हैं। मैं आपके साथ 12 साल की बेटी काम्या कार्तिकेयन की उपलब्धि की चर्चा जरूर करना चाहूंगा। काम्या ने सिर्फ 12 साल की उम्र में ही माउंट एकोनकागुआ उसको फतेह करने का कारनामा कर दिखाया है। यह दक्षिण अमेरिका में एंडीज पर्वत की सबसे ऊंची चोटी है, जो लगभग 7,000 मीटर ऊंची है। हर भारतीय को यह बात छू जाएगी कि जब इस महीने की शुरुआत में काम्या ने चोटी को फतेह किया और सबसे पहले वहां हमारा तिरंगा फहराया। मुझे यह भी बताया गया है कि देश को गौरवान्वित करने वाली काम्या एक नए मिशन पर है, जिसका नाम है मिशन साहस। इसके तहत वो सभी महाद्वीपों की सबसे ऊंची चोटियों को फतेह करने में जुटी है। इस अभियान में उसे नॉर्थ और साउथ पोल्स पर स्की भी करना है। मैं काम्या को मिशन साहस के लिए अपनी शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। वैसे काम्या की उपलब्धि सभी को फिट रहने के लिए भी प्रेरित करती है। इतनी कम उम्र में काम्या जिस ऊंचाई पर पहुंची है, उसमें फिटनेस का भी बहुत बड़ा योगदान है। A nation that is fit will be a nation that is hit. यानी जो देश फिट है वह हमेशा फिट भी रहेगा। वैसे आने वाले महीनों तो एडवेंचर स्पोर्ट्स के लिए भी बहुत उपयुक्त है। भारत की जियोग्राफी ऐसी है जो हमारे देश में एडवेंचर स्पोर्ट्स के लिए ढेरों अवसर प्रदान करती है। एक तरफ जहां ऊंचे ऊंचे पहाड़ हैं तो वहीं दूसरी तरफ दूर दूर तक फैला रेगिस्तान है। एक और जहां घने जंगलों का बसेरा है तो वहीं दूसरी ओर समुद्र का असीम विस्तार है। इसलिए मेरा आप सबसे विशेष आग्रह है कि आप भी अपनी पसंद की जगह अपने रुचि की एक्टिविटी चुने और अपने जीवन को एडवेंचर के साथ जरूर जोड़ें। जिंदगी
To be able to accomplish any milestone in life, one shall not be limited by gender or age. Even to climb the highest of mountains, you do not have to be visibly strong, nor do you need to have an athletic body. All that is needed is to take that first step and put one step in front of the other. Because if I can, you can. But you must be wondering, how did this frail, bespectacled girl with long plaited hair go on to climb the highest peak of South America? I must confess, the journey has been long, gradual, certainly not easy, but a fabulous experience. I'm here to share a few learnings and a lot of interesting stories that I have collected along the way. So, how did it all begin? Was it the world record climb of Mount Stok Kangri in 2017? Or was it my first venture in the Himalayas at 7 years of age? Or even earlier, with my escapades in the Sahyadri ranges starting at the age of 3? No. My tryst with Mother Nature began long ago when my parents carried me along on a baby sling on their treks. Even before I turned 3, I was treading baby steps in the wilderness of the Sahyadris, my first playground. My mother says that I used to believe that the Himalayas were right behind Duke's Nose, a hill in our backyard, and I would climb it often, hoping to see my father when he went on mountaineering expeditions. Enduring more and exploring further, I graduated to more difficult treks, which took me to more pristine locations. In a few months, I had hiked many trails in and around Pune, including a few strenuous ones like Rajgarh. The beauty of the Sahyadris instilled a love for nature so deep in me that I began treasuring the patterns of butterflies and leaves even more than expensive toys and clothes. I was hooked forever to Mother Nature, and I'm very sure if you trek in the Sahyadris during the monsoons, you will fall in love with her beauty too. I wanted my friends and relatives also to experience this joy of being in the wilderness. So, I requested my parents to organize a trek for my friends on my birthday. This turned out to be such a hit that it has remained a tradition ever since. All this while, I wondered why my dad traveled to the Himalayas year after year to climb mountains and wanted to find out firsthand. Finally, my time came. I graduated to high altitude treks in the Himalayas in May 2015 when I was just 7 years old. As my father was busy climbing some extreme Himalayan peaks, my mother took the lead to become my trekking partner. Since then, she has boldly led me on most of my escapades. We went on to climb the 12,000 feet high Chandrashila Peak. The majesty of the Himalayas amazed me so much that I was forever hooked to climbing. Thereon, I started challenging myself and pushing my limits in each of the subsequent adventures. Success isn't just about what we accomplish in life. It is about what we inspire others to do. In 2016, inspired by a Himalayan escapade, some of my relatives, friends, and their parents joined us to trek up the beautiful valley of Harkidun at 13,500 feet. We were 11 kids on the trek, and what fun we had, despite being completely disconnected from the comforts of home and technology. On descending from Harkidun, me and my mom bid farewell to the others and joined another group of trekkers the very next day, to climb the steeper slopes of Kedarkanta Peak at 13,500 feet. These back-to-back treks prepared me to face long durations in the mountains. The Dashera holidays of 2016 were again spent in the mountains. This time, it was the famous and treacherous trek to Rupkund, a lake seated at 16,400 feet amidst pristine meadows and dense forests. But what Rupkund is actually famous for is the large collection of human bones scattered all over the lake and a lot of interesting mythical stories to go with it. This was the first time I trekked in the Himalayas with my hero, my dad. He was actually testing my abilities in the mountains as I wanted to trek to the Everest Base Camp next. Rupkund instilled the much required self-confidence in me to accomplish higher and more challenging treks. It also earned me the confidence of my parents. Our love for the lower Himalayas has grown so much that they draw us repeatedly. We have ventured on many beautiful treks like the Brighu Lake trek and the Sarpas trek. They say that we get an endorphin high from trekking in the hills, a dopamine dose from overcoming a challenge, serotonin from bathing in nature, and oxytocin from sharing the fun with friends. I suggest these hormones are better experienced rather than just read or heard about. Through these treks, I learned that it was a great idea to spend a holiday under the stars in a hill rather than an expensive 5-star stay. They taught me to relish my daily sleep on the regular bed. But the will to trek in the Himalayas doesn't come easy. I had to train really hard. I would go on long runs or cycle uphill at least 4 days a week. But I was determined and developed the ability to continue training hard for the challenges that lay ahead. With eyes set at the Everest Base Camp, the training got more intense in the beginning of 2017. I had to train my climbing muscles by walking up steep and long hill slopes near my house. Many a times, seeing a little girl and her mother walk uphill with heavy backpacks, passers-by would even stop to offer a lift. I also took climbing lessons from my father. Doing those rope tricks was no less entertaining than watching a superhero movie. Weekends saw the entire family trek up the nearby hills so that we remained in touch with stepping through gravel and stone on uneven terrain. Apart from physical preparation, I also had to get used to extreme cold climates at such high altitude. I was lucky to be exposed to snowscapes right from the age of 3 when I traveled to the Nathula Pass on the Indo-China border. Since then, I have regularly visited various hill stations of the country like Leh, Manali, Shimla, Darjeeling, Gangtok, and Gulmarg. Gulmarg in Jammu and Kashmir is nothing short of paradise with great conditions for skiing. I have been there 4 times to learn skiing and completed the advanced skiing course in 2018 with distinction. I'm going to be there this winter too and hope to see some friendly faces from here. You will have to see it to believe it. In early May 2017, we finally traveled to Kathmandu and did the Everest Base Camp trek in the remote Solukhumbu region of Nepal. The amazing views of the magical landscape compensated more than enough for the efforts put in during the training. Most of the trail went along the Dudhkoshi River, with hanging bridges making us crisscross the river in numerous times. All along the trek, we passed devout Buddhist monasteries, a testimony to the rich but humble culture of Nepal. We also made new friends for life. At the end of each day, the entire team would gather in the dining hutment to unwind and have loads of fun. We would narrate our experiences of the day, laugh at funny instances, drink hot tang and Everest Base Camp specialty, and get ourselves energized for the next day of grind. We started out on day one as strangers from different backgrounds, but departed with a bond as strong as family. While it was just a one-time affair for me to reach the Everest Base Camp in this harsh terrain, I noticed that this path was used daily by many, including children carrying school bags and walking miles to reach their school every day. It made me realize how lucky I was, how lucky we all are. The trek acted as a stage for reinforcing the strong bonding with my mom. This particular picture depicts a poetic simile with a peak in the background called Amadablam, literally meaning mother and daughter in Nepali. If not for my mother, who has been my mentor as well as maid on all these treks, my Himalayan odyssey might have never bloomed. After 5 days of intense trek and crossing many Sherpa villages, Mount Everest and Mount Lhotse finally revealed themselves in all glory. Every step higher drained our lungs out of oxygen. This had become evident with the vegetation shrinking and the land turning barren. Above 13,000 feet, the terrain turned completely barren, reminding us of the extremely depleted levels of oxygen. At altitudes higher than 14,000 feet, with oxygen levels as less as the 50% of what is available at sea level, every single step had become an endeavor as the lungs squeezed hard and the heart pumped faster. The breaks had also become more frequent and distances seemed longer. But when you have your eyes set on a destination as big as the Everest, there's nothing stopping you. I continued to progress ahead. Finally, on the seventh day of the tough climb, rows of orange tents at 17,600 feet with an amazing backdrop welcomed us to the Everest Base Camp. I proudly unfurled the national flag on 16th May 2017 at the Everest Base Camp. The happiness of standing in the lap of Sagar Mata cannot be expressed in words easily. After the euphoria subsided, I bid goodbye to Sagar Mata with a heavy heart, only with a promise to return again and climb all the way up to the summit next time. The entire trek had lasted 14 days through dense forests, grassy plains, rocky terrain, snow and icy glaciers, covering 12 to 15 kilometers every day. There is a famous quote, "The mountains are calling and I must go." Next up was Mount Stok Kangri, a peak towering more than 20,000 feet high in the remote and harsh terrain of Leh. This incidentally wasn't my first time on this mountain. I had traveled till the roadhead of Mount Stok Kangri in 2012 when my father had climbed her the first time. Since then, it had been on my wish list, and after 5 years, I was ready. After an extensive acclimatization program at Leh, Khardungla, and beyond, we started our climb. I fondly recall an interesting snippet here. After 2 days of trekking in the dry and arid region, we met Deva and Vidhi, who had been at the base camp for more than a week and had already attempted the summit twice. While Deva had summited on the first attempt itself, his friend hadn't summited yet. Vidhi was determined to try again and was popularly being called Gajni in the base camp for her determination and being so resolute. Deva had also decided to climb again and stay back and climb with his friend, and sheepishly joked that he wanted to climb again as the weather wasn't clear for him to click a good selfie when he had summited earlier. Gajni's determination to summit the peak and Deva's decision to stay by her was awe-inspiring and something that I will never forget. The summit climb lasted a grueling 19 hours and drained our energies to the barest minimum. But I proved my potential yet again by reaching the top of the 20,187 feet high Mount Stok Kangri on 7th August 2017, just 3 days short of my 10th birthday. Gajni and Deva also summited the peak together on the same day. Here is a small video from the memorable climb.
Stok Kangri, the biggest challenge of her life till date.
I got down to the base camp a little earlier than my parents and was sitting in the kitchen tent eating Maggie and solving Sudoku. When they got back, I asked my dad which one next. Astonished, he asked me, "Do you realize that you have just climbed higher than any mountain in 5 of the continents?" And there was born Mission Sahas, a journey that would literally take me to the extremities of the world. The Explorer's Grand Slam is the ultimate challenge in mountaineering to climb the highest peaks in each of the 7 continents and ski to the North and South poles. It's no mean feat by any measure. Only 70 mountaineers have achieved it till now, of which only 14 are females. Not just that, I also hope to become the youngest ever to accomplish the feat. The current record is held by Marin Minamiya of Japan at 20 years of age. If things proceed as planned, I hope to accomplish it by 14. By accomplishing such feats, I want to promote and inspire our countrymen to adopt an adventurous lifestyle and especially promote girls to indulge in outdoor activities. As I said earlier, if I can, all of you can. The first destination of Mission Sahas took me to Tanzania in the untamed continent of Africa to climb its highest mountain, Mount Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro is a dormant volcano and also the world's highest freestanding mountain. I took the Marangu route, which involved a mammoth 4,000-meter height gain in mere 4 days of climb. For the benefit of all, this is like climbing a 333-storied building each day for 4 consecutive days. The trek took our duo of mom and daughter through varied landscapes, from plantations to equatorial evergreen forests to moorland, heath, alpine cold desert, and finally the snow-capped crater on the summit. It was literally like a fast-track geography class. We finally reached Gilman's Point on the crater rim at 7:45 on the 25th of October 2017 and achieved the first milestone of SAHAS, the roof of Africa. Here again, there was a heart-wrenching story in store for me. There was a French team on the climb with an handicapped climber. Climbing alongside them itself was hugely motivating and inspiring. During their summit climb, the weather had turned bitterly cold. Since the handicapped climber was immobilized and would feel much colder, 2 female members of the team decided to abandon their summit climb and chose to give him all their warm clothes and even shoes before they returned. Their sacrifice amazed me as they gave up their chance of summiting as well as risk their safety so that their teammate could fulfill his dream of climbing the mountain despite his disability. The second destination of Mission Sahas took me to the Caucasian mountains of icy Russia to climb its highest mountain, Mount Elbrus. Incidentally, Elbrus is also a dormant volcano and is of similar height as Kilimanjaro. But due to its location up north, it is much colder and icier. I was blessed to be flagged off by Captain M.S. Kohli, the legendary naval mountaineer who led the first successful Indian Everest expedition in 1965. He was so sharp and versatile even in his 90s. He gifted me a comic version of his book on the Everest expedition, which makes a very interesting read. I recommend this book titled Indians on Everest to everyone. This climb was more fun because it wasn't just mom and me. We had my dad and 2 of his climbing friends joining us. The first day was spent arranging the logistics and equipment, and we just couldn't get mountaineering boots of my size. The shopkeepers unwittingly commented as to who in their right senses would take such a small girl on Elbrus. Finally, we settled for a pair of snowboarding boots. Yes, you heard it right. I climbed Mount Elbrus wearing snowboarding boots. The climb started from a small village called Azau, which can be seen in the first photograph way below. And unlike Kilimanjaro, here we were walking on snow right from the first day itself. One of the pit stops, Mir Station, had a very unique dining hall. It had currencies from across the globe stuck all over with the visitors' names written on them. Since the climb above Mir had lots of technical stretches to negotiate, we brushed up some climbing skills on our rest day. Our final ascent started in the middle of the night as usual. As we walked into daybreak, everyone was praying for the sun to pop out soon. Temperatures were in the range of -15 to -20 degrees. The climb only got steeper and steeper, and with every inch endured, we were finally there, on top of Europe, second of the 7 summits accomplished. At about the same time, our sports minister, Colonel Rajavardhan Singh Rathod, had initiated the Hum Fit to India Fit challenge, and here's how I responded.
Respected Sports Minister, I accept your challenge. My challenge is to walk the last 10 steps of Mount Everest, the highest mountain in Europe.
It might sound and seem easy to take those 10 steps, but at that altitude, with lack of oxygen and fatigue from a long climb, I think very few can endure it. I wouldn't stop at that. I also skied down from the summit of Elbrus, and here's how I did it.
This is top of the Europe seas doing skiing.
Not before long, the third destination of Mission SAHAS took me down under to the snowy mountain ranges of Australia to climb its highest mountain, Mount Kosciuszko. And as usual, it was back to my mom and me again. We traveled to Sydney and Canberra, and the final climb was to start from a small town called Thredbo. Mount Kosciuszko is only 7,310 feet high and was only a one-day hike up and down. But the experience was totally different from anything we had ever done before. We had to drive 210 kilometers one way, climb the mountain and drive back, all in daylight, because beyond that, we would be bumping into kangaroos. I learned that the government even paid the driver for every kangaroo killed in an accident. It was fascinating to see snow at such a low altitude. Though the initial stretches were easy, the trek was long, and strong winds towards the end made it difficult to gain any headway. The gusts would literally push me back sometimes, and then suddenly we were there. We were the only ones who summited that day. We tried to click a selfie together, and the strong winds even broke my mom's mobile. That's the final photo that we could manage on top of mainland Australia, third of the 7 summits accomplished. The next milestone was to climb Mount Aconcagua, but the mighty Aconcagua stands 6,962 meters high. To ease your imagination, this height is equivalent to 100 Qutub Minars stacked vertically over each other. This mountain belonged to an elite league, and I knew that I had to train adequately before attempting her. So I traveled to my favorite playground again, Leh. We set out to scale my second above 6,000-meter peak, Mount Stok Kangri. Till now, I had mostly been on expeditions that were organized by some agency, mountains where there were other climbers. But Mentok was a rarely climbed peak, and we had to organize the entire expedition on our own. We roped in 2 guides, rented equipment, planned the logistics, charted the route, and left on an exploration. We were the only ones on the mountain with no civilization visible till where the eyes could see. After days of hard work, this summit allowed me an audience on 24th August 2019. Just 2 days after the summit, I cycled to Khardungla, the highest motorable road in the world. We now believe that I was ready for Aconcagua. Though climbing Aconcagua actually requires very little technical skills, what makes this mountain challenging is its extreme high altitude. Also, moving farther away from the equator thins the Earth's atmosphere and has a great impact on oxygen deficiency. Proximity to the Pacific shores also makes it susceptible to extreme weather conditions, all of which could deter even seasoned climbers. Aconcagua can be bleak and unforgiving with merciless winds and biting temperatures. With a success rate of only 30 to 35%, many who attempt this peak are forced to turn back and descend. So basically, I had to battle all these hardships to climb the highest peak in the Western and Southern hemispheres. But these challenges were anticipated, and I had prepared for them through years of rigorous training. But life consistently throws unexpected challenges at us to test our determination to succeed. I reached Mendoza in Argentina with my dad on 3rd January this year with a plan to start the climb on 7th January. As I was only 12 years old, we were to obtain a special permit for the climb from the Aconcagua National Park authorities. My father had arranged for this through a lawyer in Argentina even before we left India. But when we reached there, we were surprised to learn that a minor climber had landed in an emergency last year, and the park authorities now wanted us to acquire the permission of a family court to climb Aconcagua. In the absence of precedents, the court initially refused to even consider our case. So we had to convince the family court to take up the case by approaching a higher court. Now, despite my past climbing credentials and valid medical certificates from India, the family court wanted me to undergo various medical and psychological evaluations in Argentina prior giving me permission to climb. We could see no light at the end of this tunnel. But our lawyer, Mr. Arturo Erisi, proved to be a savior angel. Apart from fighting the case, all guns blazing, he was our translator, driver, well-wisher, motivator, and even a mountain guide. He did everything in his power to garner support, requested politicians and city authorities, consulted sports experts, publicized our plight through the media, and whatnot. Being a mountaineer himself, he even took us on a weekend acclimatization trek to a nearby mountain, Cerro Franchi, to ease our stress and prove my capability to the judge. Though our initial plan was severely delayed, we stayed determined, took up the challenges positively, and cleared all the requirements. A big thanks to Mr. Erisi. They say that if we truly wish for something, the entire universe would conspire to make it happen. The judge at the family court changed on the 10th day, with a mountaineer taking her place. We eventually got the permit on the very same day. Though undertaking the expedition after this delay meant making amends to travel plans, extending visas, and many other administrative hassles, we remained focused on the primary aim of the trip, to climb Aconcagua, and everything automatically fell right in place around that aim. On 16 January, we directly joined our team of strangers at the roadhead, Penitentes. The 3-day trek to the base camp started from the gates of the Aconcagua National Park. We were surprised to see the vegetation starting to vanish as low as 3,000 meters. In the Indian Himalayas, one would find shrubs and bushes even at 4,500 meters. We stayed at an intermediate camp, Confluencia, from where we did an acclimatization trek to Plaza Francia, the base camp to climb the south face of Aconcagua. The views of the mountain from here are the best in the entire expedition. The next day was an agonizing 10-hour-long walk to our base camp, Plaza de Mulas, at 4,500 meters. With no vegetation around and much of the route passing through a long valley between two mountain ranges, the scene never seemed to change. Thankfully, our practice in the cold deserts of Ladakh came handy. After a day's rest at base camp, we climbed to Camp 1 and returned. This was primarily to help us acclimatize better and ferry our climbing equipment, food, and water. Yes, water, as there was neither water nor snow at Camp 1. Such was the dryness of Aconcagua. After yet another day at base camp, we moved and settled in Camp 1, which was at 5,000 meters. By then, 3 of our 12 teammates had already withdrawn. The next day, we climbed and settled at the 5,600-meter high Camp 2. It proved to be a tough climb as we had to carry our entire luggage in one go. Also, the gradient had increased, as had the altitude. We had an acclimatization day at Camp 2, wherein I was thoroughly checked by the doctors of the National Park Medical Services. The doctors and guides probably did not expect me to reach this far and hence seemed a little worried and reluctant. But as all my vitals were good, I had to be allowed to climb further the next day. During the ensuing climb, the guides acted cynical from the beginning and sounded discouraging. And so, our second biggest challenge came on the 10th day of the expedition when I was climbing to the summit camp. It was a windy day and I found my fingers freezing. As I stopped a couple of times to warm them up, the guides panicked and suspected symptoms of acute mountain sickness in me and wanted us to turn around to the base camp. Despite repeated requests that I was normal, we finally had to climb down to Camp 2, where the doctor re-examined me only to declare that I was fit to climb. Just as we were coming to terms with the situation and a ray of hope to climb the next day was emerging, our guide walked in to announce that the tents had been sent back to the base camp and hence we were left with no option but to climb further down. The situation suddenly seemed out of our hand. It felt like we had hit a wall and we were physically and emotionally drained to fight any further. But on our way down, I picked up courage and assured my dad that if given another chance, I would prove them wrong by climbing all the way to the top. I was fit, confident, and as strong as other elder members in our team and did not want to accept failure due to someone else's misjudgment. This gave my father the confidence to reason out with the service provider and the park authorities and get me another chance to prove my grit. So when I was given that second chance, I was even more focused and determined to take the challenge. We set out on our second attempt of Aconcagua. This time around, the entire universe again seemed to conspire to help me reach my goal. We met our second savior angel in the form of our new guide, Peluka. With no preconceived notions, he believed that I could summit the peak and wanted to genuinely guide me if I was willing to endure. And I did endure the climb all the way from the base camp for a second time. For everyone's benefit, this was like climbing the entire mountain for a second time again. Not just the guide, even the elements tested our endurance. The weather turned tough, covering the generally barren slopes with a foot of fresh snow. But this time, we weren't going to relent, and the climb took me all the way up to the summit. At the end of the journey, apart from becoming the youngest girl in the world to scale Aconcagua and bringing laurels to our nation, what I learned is a lesson for life. Do not let challenges break you. Instead, channelize them to make you. For all the struggles you go through will only make you stronger, wiser, and humble. Okay, to sum it up, here is a brisk rundown of my short climbing experience. While on the personal front, these climbs have taken me a step closer to my dreams of climbing the seven summits. I sincerely hope that these accomplishments will motivate more students, institutions, and our countrymen at large to encourage and adopt an adventurous and outdoor way of life. And with these climbs, I now hold the records for youngest girl in the world to have climbed Mount Aconcagua, the youngest person in the world to have climbed an above 6,000-meter or 20,000 feet peak, and the youngest to have skied down from the summit of Mount Elbrus. Earlier in 2017, I had become the second youngest girl in the world to trek to the Everest Base Camp and the second youngest girl in Asia to climb to Gilman's Point on Mount Kilimanjaro. Records aside, I had climbed for the joy of climbing and would continue to do so. The road ahead is not easy. An ambitious roadmap has been charted up to the year 2022. In 2020, I want to undergo a basic mountaineering course to acquire necessary technical training. I also plan to undergo specialized cross-country ski training in Gulmarg. In 2021, I plan to attempt Mount Denali, the highest in North America, and ski traverse to the North Pole. I also plan to climb Mount Nun in the Indian Himalayas as a practice climb for Mount Everest and travel to the white continent of Antarctica to climb Mount Vinson Massif and ski traverse to the South Pole. Finally, Everest will be the ultimate challenge in completing the Explorer's Grand Slam. If I accomplish this in May 2022, I would surely be the youngest in the world to do so at an age of 14 years and 10 months. As of now, the record is held by Marin Minamiya of Japan at 20 years of age. It is a popular belief in our country that sportsmen can't study. Much against it, the fact is, sports and adventure brings discipline, confidence, and focus in life and helps one excel in every sphere. Owing to all-round performance, I was made captain of my house at school. I have been performing well in academic competitions like Spelby and Olympiad. Along with my physical development, I have been able to juggle easily between learning to play the piano, guitar, Bharatanatyam, and Western and Carnatic music. I owe this all-round development to the attributes inculcated through involvement in adventure and sports. Hence, I would request each and everyone in the audience to embrace and support adventure sports and lead a healthy and interesting life. In the end, I would request you all to keep me and SAHAS in your prayers and motivate me to endeavor more and achieve further. You can also follow my adventures on my Facebook and Instagram pages. My dad says we should all go on adventures to accumulate stories. Stories that we can tell our grandchildren when we retire at an old age. Now, I've had a little head start and don't want to wait till 60. So thank you everyone once again for bringing me this opportunity and being a patient audience to my story. Hope it spreads the spirit of adventure and healthy living.
Hello everyone, Jai Ho. Kamya, how to put in words is really very hard for me because you really proved it that age is just a number, and one who is perfectly determined and has a constant willpower within can do whatever he or she wants. I literally am I have short of words how to express means we are so lucky, so proud to have such an amazing person on Virat Talks episode 7, and also we are so proud to have a person like you in our countries.
Thank you so
So
much. It was a real honor to get to speak on your platform.
it was honor for us to have you because literally it was an eye-opening session. This was the first session. I really loved it, and literally you took all our hearts.
Thank you so much.
So let's have question answers. So the first question is for you is like, did your parents ever restricted you for anything in life?
No, my parents have never actually restricted me from doing anything in my life. They have given me guidelines and they have helped me accomplish everything that I wanted to accomplish.
So good. Okay, so moving to the next question. What do you do to improve your physical stamina?
So, usually, as part of my training, I go on long runs and cycling for at least 4 days a week. But the lockdown has imposed a lot of restriction on us now. So, we've changed my training regime. And I live in a 21-story building. So, now I climb the stairs of the building up and down about 8 to 10 times. And other than that, we also have a set of indoor exercises that we do in repetition.
Okay, so how did you get to know that this is your ultimate talent and you will do good in this?
So I feel that it is not my ultimate talent. I've been doing a lot of other stuff. Like I've been learning Bharatanatyam for about 6 years now. I've given my grade 5 exam in piano and my grade 2 exam in guitar. So it is just one of my passions that I feel I have taken up more importantly, and I would love to keep exploring new passions.
So good. Could you please tell us about your parents and friends' contribution in your success?
My parents and friends both have had a lot of contribution to my success. My friends have always been supportive and they've helped me in every little way that they can. And my mother has been my mentor as well as my partner on all my treks. And my father has been my role model and my coach from right from the beginning.
Okay. So, like, could you please, and also, can you please elaborate more about your like daily routine? Also, let us know always like how you keep yourself always so excited and inspired and thrilling sort of things.
So I feel that all the activities that I do, all the time that I spend with people around me is what keeps me excited. Apart from my training, my parents have helped me design a timetable, and I find time for everything in that, from my training to academics to my classes and even TV time and playing with my friends.
Okay. So, Kamya, can we just have a short break for something? So, I would like to hand it over to Garimadi. Then I'll again catch you back.
Sure.
So, hello काम्या.
Hi.
आपको सुन के ऐसा लगा कि हम धन्य हो गए आपके साथ कॉन्वर्सेशन करके. तो आपका क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन के बाद हमको लगा थोड़ा रिक्रिएशन टाइम, थोड़ा क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन के अलावा रैपिड फायर भी ले लिया जाए. So, can we begin?
Yeah, sure.
So, the first question, what was that one movie which made you cry?
I just actually watch movies and as movies, and I don't think I actually get emotionally hooked to any movie in particular.
That's so nice. Actually, that's nice. Okay, so which is your favorite book or novel you've ever read?
I'm a great fan of Enid Blyton books, and my favorites are the Famous Five and the Malrita series.
Wow, that's nice. Who is your role model in life?
So, my father has always been my role model. He's an accomplished mountaineer, skydiver, scuba diver, runner, and cyclist, and he's my coach right from the beginning.
Yeah, that's the best thing. And the next question being something you would never regret in life?
Something I would never regret would probably be climbing a mountain or going on a hike or just staying close to nature.
Oh, that's nice. What is that one thing that annoys you the most in life?
Uh, I guess I have this bug of doing anything I do perfectly. So if that doesn't happen, it's really annoying for me.
Yeah, for me too. Okay, so the next question is name the craziest thing you always wanted to do.
The craziest thing I've always wanted to do, I don't know, probably like exploring a new adventure sport that I've not done before. Something like my father has been a skydiver, so I am waiting to come to the legal age so that I can try that out.
Oh, that's super. Okay, so the last question is, what is the thing you're most afraid of in your whole life? Or, yeah.
Okay, this might sound a bit funny, but I'm actually afraid of ants on the dining table.
Oh my God. That's nice. It was nice having the rapid fire set with you.
Yeah, it was really
And
fun.
the answers were too amazing.
Okay, so let's get back to the questions. So the next question for you is, what would you advise the children who think that academics is everything?
Um, I feel that all children have their own, every child is different, and academics is definitely important for all of us. But at the same time, I would suggest that you should indulge in some sport of your own choice and live an adventurous life, as it teaches you discipline and also helps you focus in every sphere of life. It also teaches you how to face failures in the worst of situations.
So nice. So next question is, normally, girls are considered like very fragile and sensitive kind of. So what do you do is really a tough adventure. So how do you manage?
I feel that both my age and my gender don't really matter when I wish to do something. All that matters that I have the will to do it and I train adequately. Yes, it might be a little harder for me physically, but I train hard and don't face any physical challenges. But usually it is other people that feel that I can't do something because I'm a girl, but I don't think that really matters.
Yeah, you actually proved it that age is just a number. So next question is like, what else you love except mountaineering?
I apart from mountaineering, I love a lot of stuff. Um, I am learning Bharatanatyam, guitar, piano, and Carnatic and Western music. I also enjoy running, cycling, and I'm a certified advanced skier and a certified junior open water scuba diver. But apart from all of this, I always love my time that I spend with friends.
Okay. So how did you manage your studies during mountaineering?
So most of my expeditions are planned around my school holidays so that I don't miss much of what is going on in the class. But otherwise, I cope up by studying later, attending remedial classes, and I also complete all my written work by borrowing books from my friends.
Okay, so good. Okay, so what are your future goals? Is it related to like mountaineering or something else?
I've always felt this close connect with nature, and watching my dad in the uniform has given me a drive to serve my nation. So, as my career, I want to be a forest officer so that I can stay close to nature and serve my country at the same time.
Wow. So one last question, that is, do you wanted to become a mountaineer or else it was just that, your father was into Navy so that you got interest?
um, like when I was about 3, my dad went for a mountaineering expedition and he was out for about a month. And even after that, he used to keep going on expeditions for long durations. And I just wanted to find out what there is in the mountains that called him back again and again. So I started doing treks and I realized that I was good at it and I also enjoyed it. And these treks slowly graduated to mountaineering expedition. So I feel that it is my own realization and my own passion, but it was ignited by my father.
Okay. So Kamya, it was thank you for answering all our questions so nicely and so perfectly. Thank you so much for being there with us. I am really, it was an eye-opening session for me now listening so much about mountaineering. Even I feel like, climbing something or do something thrilling and adventurous. Means you told it correctly that success isn't about like what you do and what you become. It's about inspiring others. So you really inspire. At least I can say of me, I think everyone out there, you inspire a lot. So thank you so much, so very much to be here with us. And over to Garimati. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is a very interesting game you'll have to play with us. So this is called Put a Finger Down. So do this. I'll be asking you questions. So for example, I ask you that have you ever eaten a chewing gum? So you'll just do this, okay? जो तुमने किया है वो तुम finger down कर दोगे, okay? So are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So have you ever sung in bathroom while bathing?
Yeah.
That's everybody's. Okay. Made a wish after seeing a star?
No.
I've done this always. Okay. Ever missed a flight?
Not really, but we almost missed a flight in Argentina after our climb of Aconcagua.
Oh my God. Okay. Had a near to death experience?
No.
Okay. Ever tried guessing someone's password? Being suspicious?
No.
Oh my God, I've done that always. Okay. Faked sick from work or school?
No.
Never? Oh my God. Okay. Nice. Ever cheated on a test?
Um,
Oh my God, such a decent girl you are. Okay. Ever stayed alone for a weekend?
no. I've stayed with my grandparents also.
Okay. I've stayed. Okay. Re-gifted a gift?
Yeah.
I've always done that. Okay. Ate an entire pizza by yourself? One full
Yeah.
pizza? Okay. I never did that. Saved a life?
No.
Okay. And bit your tongue while eating?
Yeah, all the time.
It hurts so much, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So ever bit by a dog and had too many injections?
No.
Me too. Okay. So got trapped in an elevator ever?
Yeah.
Okay. कभी beautiful की spelling गलत लिखी है?
No.
Okay. It was so amazing to have this session with you. Okay. I hope you like this game.
Yeah, I loved it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I had real fun today. Thank you.
It was great to hear you, Kamya. It was really an eye-opening experience for us. I'm much elder to you, and it made me think about my whole life right now. It just flashed in front of me, and I like it. So much you have done, and it was really inspiring to hear you. And I would really like to thank your parents. Commander S. Karthikeyan sir and Miss Lavanya Karthikeyan ma'am, they have done so much to groom you the way you are, and you seem so mature for your age. You're really an inspiration to us all. So for that I would like to invite we have our Vice Admiral DSP Verma sir. He's been an inspiration to all of us, so I would like to invite him so that he can give you some blessings. Admiral sir, please.
Hello,
Good evening, sir.
Kamya. Kamya, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What's your uncle? Kamya, I'm so proud, both of you and Karthikeyan. I'm not sure whether there was a Karthikeyan who served with me, but I don't know whether it's your father. But I'm so proud. I also know that the Navy gives a lot of opportunities for children, and I would, through you, tell all these young people in Charammangal that you have to just dream. You have to put in so much discipline and just be sure. I'm not saying confident. Be sure that you will achieve it. You have done not only the country proud, you've done the Navy proud,
Thank you,
and
sir.
I'm so happy to have discovered you on Charammangal.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for always supporting us and inspiring us and connecting with us every time. Now, I would like to invite Sadhika Dr. Pragbaji Virat.
जय हो
Ma'am.
एपिसोड 7 दो नन्हे नन्ही कलियों का सफर है और वी आर so happy to hear you. It is such a big lesson for all the youngsters, the way you have managed time. You are doing so many things, not only mountaineering. हर किसी की लाइफ का एक पैशन होता है और उस पैशन को अचीव करने के लिए हम सभी एफर्ट्स करते हैं, बट द वे यू हैव रिस्ट्रिक्टेड टू your passion, not only restricted to your passion, the way you have given your time and you have managed your things along with dance, along with masti, everything, your studies, it's really a lesson for all the youngsters, because we all have just 24 hours in a day, only 365 days in a year, और उसमें भी आप पढ़ाई के साथ अपनी सारी के सारे शौक हॉबीज को पूरा करके अपनी लाइफ के गोल्स को अचीव कर रहे हो। और सबसे बड़ी चीज कि सिर्फ कुछ गोल्स नहीं है, आपने जैसा मैं पूरा सुन रही थी आपको, द वे यू स्पोक, द वे you have led your journey, and the most important thing कि इन सब के साथ आपकी इनोसेंस बरकरार है। आप इसी तरह अपने सारे गोल्स को अचीव करें, अपनी इनोसेंस को बरकरार रखें, और जीवन में अभी और बहुत कुछ है, उस अपने सारे पोटेंशियल को एक्सप्लोर करते हुए अपने जीवन में नई हाइट्स को अचीव करें। आपके लिए यही दुआ। और अब हम नेक्स्ट एपिसोड में कल जो आ रहे हैं उनसे बात करेंगे। ओवर टू तन्वंगी।
Thank you so much, Sadhika ji. There's one last question I have for you, Kavya. It's a simple question. You have been on so many talks. How did you feel connecting with Virat Youth Charammangal, and what was your experience like with us?
It was a really amazing experience for me. It was an honor to have been in the midst of you all here and to have been blessed by such a senior naval officer here. And it was a really amazing experience sharing my journey with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kamya. Now, I would like to invite Kavya Shah, a speaker for tomorrow. So, Kavya, you're welcome.
जय हो मारा साहिब को कोटि कोटि वंदन. Wow, Kamya, it was a very motivational and inspirational speech. I was amazed with your talk, and I thought that in a very young age you are doing so much in compared to me. So I was very amazed with your talk, and it was very amazing and fantastic. And I would like to say that tomorrow I am coming live on Youth Charammangal on Virat Talks. Please see me live. I am Kaamya Shah, an artistic skater, so stay tuned.
Thank you so much. I feel that everyone's achievement is unique and special, and even you've achieved so much. I'm really interested for tomorrow's session.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Kamya. It was really an amazing session, and it was a totally different session for us. This was the episode 7. We have done 6 episodes in the past, but this was a totally different session for all of us to hear you and your expectations, all of your journey and the stories, everything. It was really great to hear it, and we are hearing speakers at such a young age, and it's like an accomplishment for the country as well that you have done so much. Just a minute. Tomorrow we'll meet again at the same time, 7 o'clock. And we have Kavya Shah, an artistic skater, with us. She is only 16 years old. Yes, you heard me right. We have another young speaker, and you can Connect with Virat Youth Charammangal on Instagram @Youth Charammangal, on Facebook with the same username @Youth Charammangal. You can watch our previous Virat Talks and our different speakers on that on Virat Talks VYCM, our YouTube channel, as well as you can join Virat Youth Charammangal as a volunteer or as a member as well. We'll send you the link soon, and you can please send us feedback for all of our talks. Thank you so much.